Thank you. Wow, thank you all. What a great way to celebrate my birthday, being here in Tampa. I am so grateful to Jose for that wonderful introduction. He's an incredibly talented chef, but more than that, I have to say he's a humanitarian. He just came back from Haiti once again, where he goes periodically to help feed people. He's been doing it ever since the terrible earthquake, going to help people in remote villages. And he does that all over the world when it comes to making sure that there are clean cook stoves so that people can cook, primarily women and children, without fear of getting sick from inhaling all the smoke. I enlisted Jose's help when I was Secretary of State on the Clean Cook Stoves Initiative. And as you heard, he's also a proud immigrant. And he is standing up to Donald Trump's anti-immigrant rhetoric. And he's doing it in a very courageous way because he sacrificed his business. He'd been asked by the Trump organization to put a restaurant into the new hotel that Trump was talking about on TV today in Washington. And after Jose heard the kinds of things that Donald Trump was saying about immigrants, he said, no, I refuse to open a restaurant in that hotel. That is really gutsy. And today was a perfect time to have Jose be with us because, as I said, Donald Trump is taking time off the campaign trail to officially open the hotel. And yesterday here in Florida, he took time out to invite the press to listen to his employees talk about what a great boss he is while he was watching and listening to them. And today, in opening that hotel, I think it's important to note that he once again relied on undocumented workers. The same people he has been insulting and demonizing throughout this campaign. So, like with so much else that Donald Trump says, he says one thing and then he does something different. Many of the products in the hotel were made overseas rather than here in the United States, and he even sued the District of Columbia to pay lower taxes. That is the way that he does business. Now, we've actually learned in this campaign that Donald Trump is the poster boy for everything wrong with our economy. He refuses to pay workers and contractors from Atlantic City to Miami to Las Vegas. He stiffs small businesses. I take that one personally because my dad was a small businessman. And I've met so many people who did projects for Donald Trump. You know, provided pianos for one of his casinos, installed drapes for one of his hotels, laid the marble, put in the glass, washed the dishes, painted, and then weren't paid. I just think that is fundamentally wrong. And that is not the kind of experience we need in the Oval Office. So I'm grateful to Jose, and I want to thank everyone else. My great friend, your United States Senator, Bill Nelson, Congresswoman Kathy Castor, Mayor Bob Buckhorn, who's here with his two daughters, Governor Charlie Crist, soon to be Congressman Charlie Crist. I have to say we've got two great candidates here, David Singer, candidate for the House of Representatives, and Rena Frazier, another candidate. And we have the great talent of Angela Bassett with us today. So, my friends, here's the advice that I got. It is a beautiful day in Tampa, but it's warm. And some of you have been here a while, right? And I'm watching the flags. So long as they're waving, I know there's a breeze. If they stop waving, I'm really going to cut this short. But let me start by thanking you for being here. And thank you. Thank you. Well, I'll tell you, if I ever need a pickup, I'm coming back to Tampa, Mayor. And, with 13 days left in this election, we cannot stop for a minute. No complacency here. Nobody flagging. We've got to get everybody out to vote. And I hope, in addition to the people that I've mentioned, someone who's not here, I hope you will support. That is Congressman Patrick Murphy, to send him to the United States Senate. I think you'll be pleased because he's an independent voice. He's a problem solver. He believes in comprehensive immigration reform. He has stood with Planned Parenthood against the attacks that it has suffered. He's even brought Democrats and Republicans together to try to protect our environment and fund Everglades restoration. He'll stand up to the gun lobby and advocate for common sense gun safety measures. He'll defend Social Security and Medicare, not cutting or privatizing those two essential programs. So please, do your best to make sure we send Patrick Murphy to the Senate. Now, I got to ask you, anybody see the last debate? I have now stood next to Donald Trump for 4.5 hours, proving conclusively I have the stamina to do the job. And every time he says one of those outrageous things that he does have he does have a way of saying, I just keep remembering Michelle Obama's words, when he goes low, we go high. But I got to say, he said something in the last debate we've never heard from anybody running for president. He basically said that he's not sure. He refused to say that he would respect the results of the election. Now, this is a guy who said the Emmys were rigged, so you can't really take what he says, very seriously. But this is a problem because the first thing a president does at noon on January 20th is to take an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. And if you are casting doubts, you want to keep people in suspense as to whether you will respect the outcome of an election, that is contrary to who we are as Americans. We have our elections. We've had them from George Washington forward. We're going to keep having them and show what a democracy looks like to the rest of the world. I believe strongly that the American people are going to reject this dark, divisive vision of America. And it's happening, my friends. We have reached a milestone. More than 200 million Americans are registered to vote. That's the biggest number ever. And that number includes 50 million young people. And you know what else? More than 10 million people have already voted, including 2 million right here in Florida. I'm hearing some great stories from people. Let me just tell you one. It's about Stephen from St. Augustine. He's been fighting a rare form of leukemia and heart disease. He's been in and out of the hospitals a dozen times in the last 2 years. But he knows how important his vote is. So I heard yesterday He ditched his oxygen tank, which I would not have recommended, clung to his walker, stood in line so he could cast his vote for a better America. And if Stephen can do that, nobody has any excuses. And I think this extends not just to Democrats, but to Republicans and independents. And I am proud to have support from Republicans and independents here across Florida and across America who agree with me that we should reject hate and division. We have seen Donald Trump insult nearly every person in America, and I just find that so intolerable, because look at this diverse crowd. Look at Tampa. It's a cosmopolitan city. Florida is paving the way for what our country will look like, and we need to be lifting each other up, listening to each other, respecting each other, not sowing seeds of hatred and bigotry. And I think one of my biggest jobs after this election will be bringing our country together, and I'm going to need your help. Here, we're going to get the economy working for everybody, not just people at the top with new jobs and infrastructure. That rail, that system, Bob, that you want, we're going to get it because it would help you so much. Think of the people we'd put to work. Technology, innovation, research, advanced manufacturing, and yes, small business. I want to be the best small business president you can have to help people start and grow their businesses. But we're also going to make America the clean energy superpower of the 21st century. I know we can create millions of jobs and we can protect Florida, especially coastal Florida, and we can protect our planet at the same time. You know, you're already seeing the results of climate change here in Florida. You know, I was just in my... I am so grateful to Jose for that wonderful introduction. He's an incredibly talented chef, but more than that, I have to say he's a humanitarian. He just came back from Haiti once again, where he goes periodically to help feed people. He's in a courageous way because he sacrificed his business. He'd been asked by the Trump organization to put a restaurant into the new hotel that Trump was talking about on TV today in Washington. And after Jose heard the kinds of things that he's been doing it ever since the terrible earthquake, going to help people in remote villages. And he does that all over the world when it comes to making sure that there are clean cook stoves so that people can cook, primarily women and children, without fear of getting sick from inhaling all the smoke. I enlisted Jose's help when I was Secretary of State on the Clean Cook Stoves Initiative. And as you heard, he's also a proud immigrant. And he is standing up to Donald Trump's anti-immigrant rhetoric. And he's doing it in a very... Wow, thank you all. What a great way to celebrate my birthday, being here in Tampa.